This is me and my family. My girlfriend is from the Philippines, and I've been told I am a passport bro. Let's see if we agree or disagree with what's being said. All right, so I've searched passport bros in both TikTok and X, and we're going to take a look and see what's going on, see what people are saying, and see if we can find some agreement or disagreement. So the first video we see is traveled to Brazil, contestants cooking for title of future baby mama. All right away,
You know what I mean?
I'm kind of disagreeing with this because if the purpose of being a passport bro is finding a lasting partnership and relationship, definitely don't want to be two Brazilians cooking for you. They are probably ladies of the night, I would assume. I think that's a big issue with passport bros is a lot of traditional sexpats who have been around for quite some time are co-opting the term because there's a lot of shame in being a sexpat traveling to impoverished countries for the sole purpose of paying for, just for relations and try to keep this as PG as possible. So I believe a lot of the traditional sexpats who have always existed have co-opted passport bros. We can look into the term itself, what exactly a passport bro is. Maybe I misunderstand the term. Maybe it is a rebranding of the traditional sexpat. I know a lot of the guys are just using Tinder and Bumble and other sites just to hook up with girls. They're not interested in a lasting relationship, which I thought was the goal originally of Passport Bros, but we'll have to look into the lore of it and some more of the content and see if we agree with what a passport bro is, see if we can define it. So let's watch this video and see what's going on with this guy. Traveled to Brazil, now got two contestants cooking for the title of future baby mama. I try not to judge, but I am judging. We about to get right, man. That's how we out in real, man. You know what I mean. I do not know what you mean. You do you. You do you. That's all I got to say. I don't think these are the type of girls you bring home to mama, dude. All right, let's move on to the next one.
There's a huge difference between...
Okay, this video is by Passport Paul. It was uploaded a day ago. Different types of passport bros: white, Asian American, black. Okay, so he goes into the demographics of different types of passport bros. I mean, that makes sense because I would imagine different people have their different motivations and reason for traveling to find a relationship. Yeah, this guy kind of looks like he could be my brother from another mother. I see a little bit of resemblance. I've recently lost a little bit of weight, so I got you there, bro. You still got the old double. See, I'm losing mine. You got to get on it, dude. You got to get on that fitness, Passport Paul. We could be brothers here. Let's see what he has to say. I haven't really thought about the demographics of being a passport bro. I've just thought, well, these are men traditionally from the West. They could be of any race because, Western culture and countries are made up of multiple ethnicities and race, and then they travel to countries where they can find more traditional relationships. I thought that's what it was, but let's see what Paul has to say. Maybe he can enlighten us on the different motivations for passport bros. Let's see.
Between passport bros who are white, Asian...
That's not very loud. I can't hear them. Let's get some volume.
American and black. Let's start with the whites. We move abroad for two main reasons. One, it's cheaper and more laid back.
So this is me. This is white. It's cheaper and more laid back. This is true. The cost of living in the Philippines is way less than the U.S. Finding employment can be difficult, but currently the house where my family is residing, the rent is $140 a month for a 2-bedroom, 2-story independent house with a gate and everything. We were paying 15,000 pesos, which is about $260, I believe, if my math is correct. And we found a house in the same subdivision, same 2-bedroom, 2-bath house for 8,000 pesos a month. Both landlords are great. I had a good experience renting in the Philippines. We can get more into that later, but let's see what Passport Paul has to say. Let's get back into this video.
Two, women abroad are much more traditional. They cook, they clean, they put out, they don't harangue us, and we don't have to deal with all this nonsense. Because
women are more traditional was his second point. I agree with that. Trying to cook and clean, you'll get beat up because you're told to get out of the kitchen. Get out of here. This is what I do. I do this for you. I can't speak for all cultures and all passport bro destinations, but I can say Filipino women love cooking for their men. If you have an issue with weight, like I do, and our buddy here, Paul, does, be careful because they're feeders. They will feed you because they love cooking yummy food and then watching your reaction. They will sit there and wait until you take a bite so they can see your reaction when you eat it. It's their love language. So if weight is an issue, be careful. You have been warned, but you will be taken care of.
That we're mainly into Asians and Latinas and make our decision based on a sliding scale of how passionate versus how docile do you want your woman. For us, it's literally
want someone who is passionate but might end up stabbing you. I missed this, Latina. More passionate but may stab you. Okay, I've heard this. Never been in a relationship with Latina. I don't know. I've kind of come to the conclusion that women are women everywhere. You know, it's just kind of the nature of the beast. Men are men, women are women. We are what we are. Sure, there's some cultural differences, but it is what it is. Less passionate, but will listen and won't fight.
life is easier and better over.
I don't know. I've heard some stories, especially about Thai girls. They're very incredibly passionate, and they can be very stabby as well, and won't fight. I mean, it's human nature. All humans are going to fight, but I get it. Culturally, you're more reserved. Won't fight in public. Definitely. Because, definitely in the Asian culture, saving face is very important. You conduct yourself in a certain manner when out in public. So definitely not out in public. Behind closed doors, you hear plenty of shouting matches in the subdivisions behind closed doors. So definitely still a lot of passion.
If life got easier and better in America, we wouldn't leave and we'd move back.
This is critical. We don't want to leave. Your inflation and feminism forced us out. Inflation is global. It's everywhere. It's even hit the Philippines. Cost of living in the Philippines has gone up tremendously. Now, compared to our costs here, it's quite different. Cost of food is very similar, especially if you want more Western comforts and imported food. It's quite expensive. But if you can live off rice and dried fish, it's quite affordable. Feminism, we can get into feminism later, and feminism has definitely forced a lot of men out. Definitely. Let's see what Passport Paul has to say.
And when we see Asian people and black people with white women, at least the past.
When we see Asian and black people with white women, I need to pay better attention to what he's saying. I'm talking too much. Yeah, I don't have any issues with interracial relationships, interracial relationships. I'm in one. I have no issues with them. So let's see what Paul has more to say on this.
Community, we don't look down or are angry at them. We just mainly think why would you want to do that? For Asian Americans, including Middle East and India, I feel like it's almost the exact opposite. In their societies, status is incredibly important. While your mother would obviously prefer that you're a doctor, traveling abroad at least has some coolness factor to it, where you can say, hey, I'm this cool adventurer. At least it gives you something. And because of this focus on status, Asian people are almost universally attracted to white women because white women are seen as the highest status women to date.
I'm learning something new. Didn't know Middle Eastern and Indian men consider white women the highest value or something. I don't know.
You don't see Indian Americans and Chinese Americans moving to Brazil or really to Thailand. They're going to Scandinavia, Poland,
see a lot of Chinese in the Philippines,
Eastern
and
Europe.
Indians.
Again, dating a white woman is just much higher status for them. Even the people in the community who criticize it, their criticisms are an implicit endorsement of that fact. So for them, when they see white dudes dating Asian girls, they look down on us. They're like, why would you date this much lower status woman?
I've heard something like this. So in the Philippines, from a lot of the locals, they say, why are you dating the ugly women? But for many, including myself, I'm attracted to darker skin, the morenas, as they call them, and thinner girls, where a lot of Filipinos are attracted to chubby white girls. We have plenty of chubby white girls in the U.S. I'm a chubby white dude. It would be like dating myself. There's plenty of options here. Why would I go all the way to the Philippines to date a chubby white girl whenever I can definitely date a chubby white girl in the U.S.? It's more cultural. It has less to do with looks, but come on, you got to be attracted to who you're with, right? So let's continue with Passport Paul.
For us, it's why do you care about the status of what woman you're dating? These women are a headache.
That's true. That's true. White Protestants could care less about status. It's just not something we really consider when searching for a partner.
Much rather have your women that are much easier to deal with. Now, Black American travelers are in an interesting place in the middle. One problem for them is that a lot of Asian and Latino countries can be pretty discriminatory. So even if it's generally cheaper and laid back, why would you want to live there if everyone's racist towards you? And also in places like Latin America, black people are part of the culture. So you don't even get this foreign aspect to it. But Europe is like America
now. The world is racist. When you travel, you find out the world is very racist.
For rich people, especially for
The U.S. is probably the least racist place on the planet Earth. The world is crazy. And we can go into more of that later. Racism is definitely an overused word. It doesn't even have its original meaning anymore. It's been so overused that it's completely lost its meaning. But let's get back into Passport Paul talking about Black Americans. Black men are like white men in this way, where we don't really care if that's why you're into us, just that the quality of life is better.
For rich white women who can never be like a minority themselves, marrying one is a way of achieving that type of status. Add to that the fact that a lot of Europe is still much cheaper than the United States, and even though white women can be a pain for white men, they're still less of a pain than, I'm just going to stop there. The thing that I find kind of ironic, though, is that there's a whole group of people that believe that black men are interested in dating black women for the status, and while it might be true for a lot of them, I generally think that most of them just want an easier life.
Most people want an easier life. I think that's true everywhere. Yeah, let's give Passport Paul a follow. We'll give him a follow and we'll like the video, heart it, whatever. He gave us some good information. Here's somebody. The black assessment is way off. Black men chose based on their personal attraction. Sometimes being with a black woman is still the objective, so they will go to Africa or Brazil to have the woman they would have a hard time having in America because of the cultural difficulties that come with pickiness and expectations. Then Passport Paul responded, it's way off. Sometimes they will do something different. Haha, okay, bro. Okay, that's snarky. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, let's see. Red beard, dating overseas is better. A big booty Latina. Passport bros are thriving. Let's see what some of a message to Passport bros. All right, Lily's Life Official, a message to Passport bros. She's a passport sis, so let's see what she has to say. She appears to be in Thailand.
Some advice to passport bros coming from a passport sis.
That's
because
me.
I came to Thailand over 10 years ago and I fell in love my first day here in Koh Samui with my husband,
It's easy to fall in love
Thai.
with Southeast Asian countries.
I was never planning on coming here to meet a man, but that's what ended up happening. So a lot of men, they come here and they're hoping to meet a woman who's more feminine and more will fulfill that.
Definitely looking for more feminine energy in our ladies, most certainly. In the West, a lot of women carry a lot of masculine energy, so it's good to be in touch with that feminine side. So
I guess the feminine role that they're looking for, and that is what I was attracted to my husband, not the feminine role, but I was attracted to my husband Watt because he was very masculine. When we would go out, he was very extremely protective of me. I felt safe. I loved that feeling of feeling like, wow, this is a masculine man who would kick somebody or kill somebody if they hurt me. I love that feeling, and he's always.
Do men in the West not carry that energy anymore? Have we been so emasculated to the point to where we no longer feel that it's our duty to protect the women in our lives? Is that something to explore? I did not realize that. I mean, the men in my circle still definitely carry that energy that, we are the protectors. That is our role. That is our duty. If women aren't experiencing that in the US, that's quite frightening. We've fallen quite a bit. Let's continue.
Been so protective of me and wouldn't hesitate to knock someone out if I was in danger. And I didn't always feel that in past relationships, and I think there is an imbalance. And
so she hasn't always felt that the man was her protector. That's sad.
The West, or coming from an American perspective of the role of men and women. And personally, I have been in work situations where I felt like I didn't get the same advantages as men, but I didn't stay in those businesses in that, in that work environment long. I would find another job, and I have always used being a woman to my advantage, and I think there's a lot of advantages.
Anyone would. If you're given certain advantages in life, you take them. You take advantage of them. It's smart. I mean, anyone would definitely do the same.
To being a woman, and I've never focused on being a victim because of my gender, and I have a successful.
You're not a victim, especially in the West. You have massive amounts of privilege. Everyone does.
YouTube channel where I get a lot of comments, and most of them are good, but I do get a lot of negative comments. And I noticed that a lot of the negative comments were from women, and women need to take responsibility for that. Why we feel like we need to tear another woman down.
A lot of hate out there.
Because we see that she has something that we don't have.
Pretty much why I'm doing these videos is the amount of hate I'm seeing. I'm trying to understand, who exactly the Passport Bros are, what their motivations are, and see if the hate is justified or if it's just people hating to hate.
Because of jealousy. A lot of the misogyny actually comes from other women and not from men. It's important to not blame other people for our problems, to take responsibility and take ownership and know that we can find a solution and that we can overcome. And if you have that mindset, that's going to work to your advantage. Now, for relationships, relationship wise, if you come and you meet a person of another culture, like I met a Thai man, you have to realize that there's going to be huge cultural differences, and
huge cultural differences. It's part of working through a relationship. Relationships are already hard, so when you add that dynamic on top of it, it makes it even more work, but it can definitely be rewarding as well.
The biggest issues in relationships is trust and communication. And the trust, you should be able to deal with that kind of soon. Like, you can see if someone is trustworthy, and you don't want to be with a cheater, and you should look at their family. Like, is their mom a cheater? Is their dad a cheater? Their brother and sister? Like, do they come from a family?
Trusting your partner in more ways than one is the foundation to a solid relationship. You have to have trust. You have to trust that your partner is there for you. If you don't, the whole thing's going to come down.
That is faithful, or their friends, are they surrounded by friends who have a history of cheating? Do they have a history of cheating? Then communication, that's really hard, to be honest, to learn how to communicate, because
that's so true. Cheaters seem to surround themselves with other cheaters. I have a couple really good friends in this world. I used to have a larger friend group when I was younger. When I had the larger friend group, I wasn't as connected to everybody. We did not always align ideologically when it came to our thoughts on a whole broad spectrum of ideas. But I did have some friends who were cheaters then and would even sleep with other friends' girlfriends. But I would say my small friend group now, no one's a cheater. Everyone's loyal, faithful. So I definitely think you surround yourselves with the type of people you want to be, for sure.
Because Southeast Asians, they don't communicate the same way as Americans, as Europeans, because they tend to be in the now. They don't like to talk about the past, and they don't really like to focus too much on the future. It's much more of the Buddhist mindset of living in the now. But that shouldn't stop you from having a successful relationship. The biggest challenge for me was that I'm a deep thinker, and I like long conversations, and I like to talk about the world, and Watt, my husband, is just different. My husband is a simple man, and I can't have those types of conversations.
In all fairness, there's simple men everywhere. In the US, there are men who will only discuss football. So there are simple men everywhere. This isn't just a Thai thing. I think not everybody likes to discuss grand ideas and philosophy and those sorts of things. So I get it.
But you know what? I am able to explain complex things to him in a simple way. And that's been good for me and for my brain, and to learn how to break things down simply. And he can give me wise advice on his perspective of that. But what I've done is that I've actively gone out and sought friends, good friends who aren't going to drag me into drinking and drugs.
Good friends are important.
Friends who are loyal and who have my back. And you have to do that continuously as an expat if you decide to live in another country, because you're going to always have people coming and going, and that's the reality of it. So it can be very lonely.
Good advice.
But as long as you have love in your relationship and you love that person, you can make it work.
You can make it work. Yeah, we'll give Lily's Life Official a follow as well, and we'll heart it. It's a good video. Great advice. So the next video we're going to take a look at, just scrolling down here, I think this is more specific to the Philippines because I see AFAMS, which I believe is an acronym for a foreigner around Manila. And they pretty much call all foreigners living and working in Manila AFAMS, or the Philippines AFAMS, even if they're not in Manila. So this is Big Lumpia. Lumpia is a Filipino egg roll, which everyone needs to try. But let's see what she has to say on, let's see what the title is. Are we all on Passport Bro TikTok right now? I guess so. I definitely am. All right, let's see what Big Lumpia has to say.
You see passport bros all the time. All the time. It's like normalized. Minsan pa nga pag may ating nakapangasawa ng AFAM, sinasabi nila, isang Pilipino na naman ang nakaahon sa hirap. Pero pag nakadating ka na sa Amerika,
when you see a Filipino with a passport bro or an AFAM, the other Filipinos will talk, oh, they made it out. Look at there, they got their AFAM. They've made it out of poverty. Okay.
Makikita mo talaga na hindi.
But when you get to see America, they don't see us as equals.
Pantay.
Okay, so I'm guessing she's getting a lot of hate being in the U.S. And in the last video, we touched on that a little bit. Some of the hate that passport bros, people going overseas to find love, and their partners are receiving, especially on social media.
Tingin nila sa atin. Unfortunately, I'm literally holding your hand when I say this. At ang masasabi ko lang sa mga ate ko,
mga ates and titas, that's older sister and aunt. Ate and tita in Tagalog.
Na mag-aafam.
Yeah. In Bisaya, it would be tia instead of tita.
Dyan, always, always, always have an exit plan. Hindi lang para sa'yo, para din sa mga...
Always have an exit plan. I mean, it's a good idea to know your partner in your situation, but I don't know if I like this mentality. I wouldn't tell men to always have your exit plan. Why are you choosing to be with that person if your entire planning is surrounding exiting and not securing a good future for you and your children with that partner? But we'll see what she has to say.
Relationships like that have a clear power dynamic. You are not in an even playing field. That means we don't have to tolerate it, but we owe it to ourselves to be informed. Growing up in the Philippines,
I mean, no relationship has a completely balanced playing field. There's a power dynamic in every relationship, and it depends on the situation. Sometimes it goes one way, sometimes it goes the other way. I can see where both parties could have a power dynamic in those types of relationships because of the commitment the men or women have to make when bringing their foreign partner specifically to the U.S. There's forms you have to sign where you have to agree to support them no matter what. And that person could be scamming you. There's always a risk. You know, we could talk more about this later. Yeah, I don't know if me and Big Lumpia are seeing eye to eye on everything. Let's read some of the comments. I overheard some YT, I think that's white. I overheard some YT men talking about how Asian women worship YT men in the third world. Yeah, there's some component to that. They prefer lighter skin, and Korea is really big on skin whitening, and so is the Philippines. They use a lot of Korean skin whitening products. I've heard the arguments that's rooted in colonialism, but even in locations where colonialism wasn't prominent, you still have darker people trying to make their skin lighter and lighter skinned people trying to make their skin darker. So I just have this belief that people aren't happy with the way they are and are constantly trying to change it, and how they'll just buy a wife from the Philippines. I mean, that definitely does happen, but it's not for passport bros. This is definitely an oversimplification of the process. Sure, it's expensive. You have to pay a lot of money, so you have to have money, but equals okay. I mean, yeah, okay. So this is definitely a people hating post. American women won't date those losers. Good. We're not wanting to date you. We are specifically traveling overseas to avoid you. So I'm glad the feeling is mutual. Nothing but predators. There are a lot of predators. I've met some people who raised the hair on the back of my neck that I wanted to call the FBI, check this guy's browser history. That's definitely, there's definitely a lot of predators involved too. So Filipinos in Thailand, young women be with 60-year-old YT men, and it's nasty. That's an opinion for sure. But you see a lot of couples too that are around the same age. So sure, this definitely happens, but it's not everyone. Why do Asians allow these pedos into your countries though? Smacking my head. Everyone wants tourism. Tourism is really good. You want people to come to your country. There are laws in the country against degeneracy that aren't being enforced. These countries need to enforce these certain laws to cut down on the types of degenerates that they are attracting to their country. So I can kind of agree with this comment a little bit as well. This is the biggest thing. Those men do not respect you. It's not worth it. You are giving your time, youth, beauty, body, and self to someone who views you as a convenience. And Grisix agrees. I have nothing but respect for my partner, and I am also giving my time, my youth, my body, everything to them. It is mutual. So this person is definitely one of the haters that we heard about on another video. So we need to explore the hate side of it. I don't see any comments making any really valid points. It's mostly just hate and disdain for people that travel overseas to find love. It does seem to be directed at men. Most passport bros are uneducated men who complain that women are gold diggers when they barely have money. Your source. So after reading a bunch of these comments, people are angry. People are very angry over someone choosing to travel to find happiness and love. It's an interesting dynamic. One that we will definitely have to explore more on more videos. All right, let's find one more video to review today on TikTok, and then we'll take a quick look at X. The truth about passport bros. What do you think?
This is the truth about passport bros. As a coach, I've been helping thousands of guys over
This guy's a coach.
the years learn the exact skills to be able to meet and attract women in the
It's not hard to meet and attract women in the West. This isn't the issue. Most of the men traveling, I think there's this belief that they're just weirdo losers who can't get ladies. Like, we don't want the attitudes and culture of the West. It's not that we can't find women. It's we can't find the type of women we want to be the mothers of our children and our future partners.
West. And yes, it definitely works. So I think that these passport bros are just looking for some excuse and wanting to
Nice perm, bro.
play victim so that they can, I don't know, go off and try something that seems easier, when in fact, it seems a little ridiculous that you would travel all the way across the seas to a new country to then attract some woman and bring her back to the United States.
We're not traveling overseas just to attract some woman. Man, this guy's way off base. He has no idea what he's talking about, and I don't know who he's coaching, but
States. Or maybe you just stay
get your
there
money back,
and
fellas.
You don't live in the U.S. anymore. Okay, fine for you, but there's an easier way to attract women than having to come up with some crazy, brilliant plan to
Not
leave the
about
United
attracting
States, which,
women.
let's
It's
be
about
honest,
culture.
is not practical for most men. This is the truth.
Yeah, it's not. I agree with that last statement. It's not practical for most men. Let's see. Oddly, I'm a passport bro from the late 80s and have been happily married for over 30 years. Love my Thai wife, and oh, I love living in Thailand. This guy lives in Mindanao. It's heaven on earth. Bruh, y'all really be making videos on what another man decides to do with his life. Let them dudes live their life. I agree with Dave. Because he's not a man. All right. I don't agree with our friend Trip Advice. Moving on. All right. So X is a little bit different, and we just searched passport bro. We're going to scroll and see what we find, see what people are saying, and see what the general consensus is regarding who passport bros are. Riley calls out Violet for calling him ugly and bald in public.
All right.
I guess this is maybe from 90 Day Fiance. Yeah, you don't disrespect your man in public. But she's Asian. They'll call you out in public. This is a cultural clash. I don't really care. 90% of what's going on that stupid show is all scripted anyway. Passport bros exposing that they're not after foreign women for love, but for sex tourism and trafficking. I've been seeing a little bit of this. I do believe there's some truth in this. There are a lot of men who have co-opted, or maybe it was always what it was, and men looking for love and relationships co-opted the term. I don't know which direction. I don't know which way it went, but they're definitely two different dynamics, two different types of men searching for two different types of things. I don't think you can lump them in the same group. This man recorded multiple women on a hidden cam after taking them home and posting it online, pleading men to join him. Oh, boy math equals complaining Western women only want you for your money, then going to foreign countries to settle with women that are underprivileged and only want you for your money. Well, I mean, you kind of played your own self in this comment, because if they both want the money, wouldn't you want to be with a more feminine, loving woman who takes care of you as opposed to a Western woman? I don't know. the thought. Passport bros exist for men only. Didn't we just see a woman who was a passport sis? I'm pretty sure. I guess the bro part, so I guess this would be true. American women wouldn't survive abroad. They would be expected to be proper wives, cook, clean, raise kids. Men go overseas to find women who know their place. Yeah, I guess. I mean, we all need to know our place, right? What our responsibilities are, what our duties to each other are. It's kind of important. It's something we all need to know. This woman says foreign women only deal with passport bros to get a green card. Why do Western women hate foreign women so much? Are they threatened? Let's listen to what she has to say. I believe there is a component to that. I believe there are women looking for foreign men specifically to get green cards to better countries. Maybe they'll fall in love with that man. Maybe they'll have a good long 40-year marriage and relationship. But it's kind of hard to judge that situation. There are a lot of women who have zero interest in traveling to a Western country who are just happy living where they're at and they just want a good man. Let's see what she has to say.
This one's for the men who just say they've given up on Western women and are going to go abroad for a woman. I
did in 2014. Gave up in 2013 and went abroad in 2014.
Understand some of your frustrations, but if you're going to be a passport bro, there are certain downsides. First of all, you have no idea if this woman is using you for a visa or your money. You're not going to be able to.
That's true. That is a very valid point. Is she just using you to get a visa and just using you for your money? But you have that same risk dating no matter where you are, whether it's in the West, your home country, or whether you're traveling, there's always that risk. Something men have to deal with regardless.
Have fun banter with her.
Irregardless.
She might be more feminine, but she might not feel like your best friend.
My girlfriend is incredibly feminine and she is my best friend. She is amazing and awesome. We love each other. We love spending time together. She's probably the first partner, girlfriend, whatever, wife that I've been with that I don't get tired of after, a few hours. And I'm like, get away from me. I need to go do my own thing. I actually want to spend all of my time with her. It's a weird feeling.
Feel more like a maid service. Number two,
she does kind of wait on me hand and foot. So I am very spoiled and I hope she doesn't feel like she's on the phone down here watching me make this video. So hopefully you don't feel like a maid, babe. I love you. I try to help a little.
You're definitely going to run into some cultural differences.
Yep.
Is she going to be willing to give up her family, her friends, her career just to come to the States for you? You guys are also going to run into the issue of where to live. Or are you willing to move there? Passport?
Yeah, I was willing to move to the Philippines. I lived in the Philippines for a year and a half. It's not for everyone. I can say that. There's some realities of living in a developing country that if you're used to living in a first world Western nation, there are some certain realities.
Broing is a cop-out for something that can be easily solved.
Wait, what was that last line? What did she say? Passport broing is a cop-out
for something that can be
easily solved. Easily solved. Okay. How is this? I want to know how this can be easily solved. Let's check out the comments and see if someone knows how it can be easily solved. I've heard this a lot. Don't bring your foreign wife to the U.S. She will fall into Western feminism and become the thing you wanted to escape. But I've also seen a lot of situations where that doesn't happen. It depends on the person. There are 100% downsides to marrying a foreigner. You will have very little in common. I probably have more in common with my current girlfriend than I've ever had with any other girl I've ever been with. So, I mean, I guess not everybody. I want to know what our solution is. Why do these women care? They want to control and ruin Western men. Okay. Most passport bros are just sleeping around with their beautiful women. That's what I need to find out. Are passport bros just your traditional sex pats, or are they actually looking for long-term relationships with women? That's our search. That's our hunt. That's what we're trying to, that's the question we're trying to get answered. You never hear baddies complain about passport bros. All right, let's check out another one. Let's see what else we got. Okay, yeah, STDs, don't sleep around. Don't be a degenerate. STDs bad. We're not going to watch this one. What in the world? her legs. What is this? What am I looking at right here? There's apparently an entire industry of Filipinas who make YouTube slop content pipping each other out to passport bros. This says all kinds of unpleasant things about the Philippines. Meet Irish Cruz. She's going to help you find the Filipina of your dreams for free. I think I've seen this girl's videos before on posted in other places. Oh, it's not a video. It's just a picture. Oh, man. All right. We're going to have to remember Irish Cruz. Passport bros are called losers back home in Japan. Okay. The passport bro thing is funny to me because it's a fantasy about a type of woman who doesn't exist. I kind of agree with this a little bit. I think some people are a little delusional. All right. I think we've definitely scrolled enough. We've seen some interesting takes, some interesting topics, and we'll take a look at it more next time. And maybe we'll introduce you to my girlfriend and we'll have a conversation about what her thoughts are on being a passport bro. Bye, guys.